Prime Minister Sheikh Hassina. Weeks of violent demonstrations across the South Asian country have killed at least 300 people. The protests started last month with a demand to end quotas in government jobs reserved for relatives of people who fought in the War of Independence more than 50 years ago. There was a pause in the demonstrations after the Supreme Court scrapped most quotas, but students came back to the streets demanding justice for the families of those killed and the resignation of the Prime Minister. More than 90 people were killed on Sunday alone, including 13 police officers, when demonstrators attacked a police station. 76-year-old Hassina won a fourth straight term in January this year. The election was boycotted by the main opposition party. Her party, the Awami League, has been accused of rights abuses and corruption for years.
The country is witnessing a period of revolution right now. I had invited all the leaders of political parties. They came here and we had a good discussion. We have decided to form an interim government. Through the interim government, the functioning of the country will take place. I'm giving you my word that we will bring justice for all the killings and the injustice that has happened. Have faith in the army, the armed forces.
Hassina's resignation and fleeing the country is being widely celebrated across Bangladesh. But restoring calm, assuring accountability and trust in a military that is itself accused of widespread abuse poses a huge challenge in the days and weeks ahead.
There's jubilation in the streets. I was out there. I saw the people celebrating. First and foremost, I think the army has stopped further bloodshed, and that is very important. There are hundreds of thousands, some say about 1 million people converging on Dhaka right now. People have confidence in the army. This crowd some of them were shaking hands with the soldiers. So at least the bloodshed has stopped. The army has a very tough job ahead right now. It has promised to create an interim government. And we are all hoping that the transition will be peaceful and that there will be accountability for all the human rights violations that have taken place recently, including the killing of about 300 people in the last 3 weeks. And then, of course, Bangladesh has an enormous task ahead. It is not the poster child of sustainable development anymore. The previous government had driven this country into despair, and there will be a lot of hard work to do to build it up. But most of all, I think it's extremely important that the army respect human rights. No one, not just the student leaders, but no one in the country wants military rule again. This country's gone through that. They've just overthrown an authoritarian leader, so they're not looking forward to long-term military rule. These are very early time, just a couple of hours, and the Commander-in-Chief made a public statement in which he talked about an interim government. I think people will be watching very closely to see who he puts into that interim government to make sure that it is an inclusive government and a civilian government. So this is a question of transition. I think if the army believes that it can control this country through military rule, it only has to look at the streets. You can see the people out there. Effectively, people peacefully, without arms, had overthrown an authoritarian regime. That is incredible.